You know, coming here to Colorado, I really thought everything was going to be lollipops and sunshine.
Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows, everything that's...
And it kind of was up to a point.
And then, our entire plumbing system went to shit. When we left Tucson, our first stop was going to be, and was, Las Cruces,
New Mexico.
New Mexico. Sunny Acres RV Resort, which all of our travels and so on and so forth will be starting next week. But we wanted to just come on here and let you know how things can, as bright as the future seems, go bad a little bit. So when we left Tucson and arrived in Sunny Acres in Las Cruces, we hooked up, as usual, we hooked up just our water and our electric, and there we were. And just the original plan was that we were just going to stay for one day, stay overnight, and continue on. Those plans changed, but not because of anything extreme.
Yeah.
Okay, we decided to stay a second day at Sunny Acres because the weather in our next stop was going to be pretty bad if we had left on that following day.
And there's nothing so exciting as trying to get set up and hooked up in a new place when it's pouring down rain and thundering and lightning, because we've done that before. We don't want to do it again.
No, ever. I'd really rather not.
Remember that one place, I think it was in, I can't remember where it was, that the mud was like this
Georgia.
deep. Was it Georgia? When
Yeah.
it was pouring down rain and the mud was this deep. It was horrible.
And to add insult to injury, that was our very first stop ever on our RV adventures.
I'm glad it didn't foretell what our whole adventure was going to be.
Yeah. But yeah, the weather in Las Vegas, New Mexico, yes, there is a second Las Vegas, and this one's in New Mexico. So we can now say we've been to Las Vegas twice. But the weather in Las Vegas, New Mexico on that day was going to be, they actually had severe thunderstorm warnings. And when we got there, we came to find out that that is exactly what happened. But I went to wash my hands in the kitchen sink. And for all intents and purposes, I got a dribble of water. So I went to the bathroom. And there was a fairly decent flow of water. So I kind of put it off to, I guess Sunny Acres is having problems with their water pressure.
Yeah.
2 days go by. We go to Las Vegas, New Mexico. And it's the same thing.
Same lack of water pressure. Same dribble in the kitchen.
And I'm thinking to myself now, not likely that 2 RV parks. But to counteract that feeling, over the desk in the front office at that KOA, there was a sign that said, "You don't need a water pressure regulator. We use a gravity feed for our water." So I'm thinking to myself, okay, maybe gravity feed is just low water pressure. And so once again, I kind of blew it off. And then we arrived here in Pueblo. And I hooked everything up. And the water pressure was exactly the same. However, the water pressure in the bathroom was also starting to decrease. So I literally checked every single thing I could think to check. Was there a kink in my hose? Was there a clog in the screen at the place where I hooked the hose up. Everything I could think of. And finally I got just frustrated and couldn't figure anything out. So I called a local mobile RV tech.
Thank goodness that's a thing now. They've really gotten us out of a lot of jams.
And now I want you to know that this was 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
My expectation was that I was going to call him and he could say, yeah, okay, I can get out there tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, Jace at Rutro RV Repair told me he would be on his way in a couple minutes. Now, he was coming from Colorado Springs, which is about 40 minutes away from here. I told him, I said, you know, Jace, you don't have to come now. I mean, we can
figure it out till in the morning.
Yeah, we can manage, you know. So, but he came. Got here around 8 o'clock that night and started looking around, and I want you to know that by the thing I am about to say, it is made very clear that who's the dummy in this relationship. My bathroom faucet, for some god-awful reason or another, I never thought to check the screen in the bathroom faucet. Well, Jace pulls it right out. That was one of the first things he did. Walks in there, unscrews it, and it's clogged with sand and algae. I mean, it looked like seaweed, almost.
Ugh.
Clogged in there, and up in the faucet. He cleaned that all out. Bob's your uncle. Water starts flowing out of the kitchen, out of the bathroom sink, like there was never an issue. But the kitchen sink.
No go in the kitchen sink. And he checked it out. In fact, he talked to him on the phone about maybe having to replace the faucet. Maybe, you know, we covered pretty much everything we could think of, and then when he talked to him on the phone, they covered pretty much everything we'd already thought of. So
now, on these kitchen sinks, ours anyway, the faucet has a mixer. It's like a ball at the bottom of the spout. That is the mixer. It mixes the hot and cold water. Our speculation at this point, because the screen on that faucet was not clogged, was that there had been buildup in that mixer. Now, this was a RV faucet. It's the one that came with this rig. And there is absolutely no way to get to that mixer. So, the faucet needed to be replaced. Jace very kindly said, and you don't want me doing that, you can do that.
yeah.
And I said, you're right, I can. So the following day, Cindy and I went to Home Depot. And we bought a new kitchen faucet. And it was something that I already knew, and Jace reinforced that it didn't have to be an RV faucet. However, you do have to have adapters for the hot and cold water, because you're going from standard residential plumbing
To the PEX.
to the PEX plumbing. No big deal.
So he thought.
So he thought. I go to Ace Hardware after we got home, because quite honestly it slipped my mind. I go to Ace Hardware and I get 2 adapters for the hot and the cold water. And I install them. we're all set. I'm on the phone with Cindy. I go outside and I say, okay, do me a favor. I'm about to turn the water on. If you see any leaks, now I'm thinking to myself, leaks, and you're going to see maybe a drip.
Something that needs to just tighten up.
Yeah. I said, okay, here we go. And I turned the water on.
And I said, stop, because water was spraying everywhere. It was on the floor. It was under the
It
sink.
literally sprayed almost the entire length of the living area here. There was water on the floor. So I came back inside, obviously, after turning the water off. And I said, okay, I don't know what could have gone wrong here. And that was when I realized they'd given me compression. I mean, look, in my own defense, I said to the sales guy at Ace Hardware exactly what I was trying to do.
You had pictures of the
Yeah.
pipes and stuff. Yeah.
I had them with me.
Oh, that's right. You had them with you.
I had the old faucet and the new faucet with me. And I told him it was for an RV and going into a PEX connector. He sold me compression fittings.
Which he didn't realize until after he came back in to check and saw the plastic bag that had come in and said compression on it.
Right. So now I'm toast. Because I'd gone to Ace, when I went to Ace Hardware, it took us probably a good half hour to find those two adapters. So they didn't have anything else. So I did what any good red-blooded American male would do. I called Jace again. And he said, no, I texted him actually.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, I'll figure something out. So for the second day in a row, I end up having Jace here at 8 o'clock at night. And what Jace came up with, because he couldn't find any screw-in adapters that would fit, is he came with two valves. One side was the natural fitting for this specific faucet. The other side is kind of like a shark bite fitting, where it just fits right into the PEX and you clamp it. And bing bang, 12 minutes. We actually timed it. 12 minutes from the time he walked in here till the time he was done putting them in.
I was shocked. I had Bucky in the bedroom because he just goes nuts when anybody's in here. The first night he had barked the entire time Jace was here.
Yeah.
Which was annoying to me, so I know it was annoying to other people.
And we were saved. Our faucet now works perfectly.
In fact, I think it works better than the other one did.
Oh, I think it works 100% better.
Yeah.
I mean, we went from I guess it was Furion that made,
Probably.
to American Standard, but it works perfectly. And now we have shut-off valves under our kitchen sink.
That hopefully we will never need.
Right. But yeah, that was our little mini disaster on our wonderful trip here.
Other than that, we had a great trip. There really wasn't no
Well,
problems.
we can't tell them too much.
Oh, okay.
We got to make them come back for next week's video when we start to take you along on our trip, as promised. I'm Felix.
And I'm Cindy.
We are the Roaming Gomes. See you next week.